Snare Flea. A very large arthropod of the class Chilopoda. Its body produces a silk, which it primarily uses to propel itself to places where it is concealed. Its exoskeleton is somewhat fragile, and it can die from long falls. The Snare Flea does not produce venom, nor does it have a strong bite. It makes up for this weakness with its ability to tighten itself around large prey to suffocate. The Snare Flea thrives in dark, warm areas. It can't survive low temperatures and generally avoids open air and sunlight. Take the rats outside or just beat the hell out of them. I think their insides could make a good milkshake. Bunker spiders of the genus Theraphosa are the largest arachnid found in the Thistle Nebula, and the second largest ever discovered. It's believed they evolved to prey on large mammals over the course of a measly several hundred years after the boat made its trip around the Thistle Nebula. Refer to speculation on increased specialization around the fading nebulae. Bunker spiders produce silk, lay it around their chosen nesting area, then wait for it to be tripped on. They can be seen waiting on walls, often over doorways, where prey could enter unaware. If you find a bunker spider unprepared, it may freeze as a defensive reaction. In this case, they're best left alone. If a bunker spider reacts aggressively, it's best not to fight with ordinary tools. They use their webs to make up for their rather slow movement, so take note of your surroundings. Their webs can be broken easily with a blunt tool. Bunker spiders can pose a great danger to human and urban explorers especially, without a great benefit to their ecosystems. A resulting kill-on-sight order has been informally agreed upon between many states homes to the bunker spider, and it is currently approved by the ITDA as of October 6, 2497. Hoarding bugs of the order Hymenoptera. They're large social insects. While often found living alone, they've been found to share their nests with members of their own species. They measure a height of 3 feet on average, with bulbous bodies. The thinness of their fluid and blood and the material of their carapaces contributes to their low weight, making them capable of flight with their membranous wings. It also makes their bodies somewhat transparent. Hoarding bugs were given their name due to their territorial nature. Once they've chosen a place as their nest, they'll seek to adorn it with any object they find, and will protect these objects as a part of their nest. Hoarding bugs are not so dangerous alone as they are in large hives. However, if left alone, hoarding bugs are surprisingly neutral and pose little danger. Hoarding bugs will attack if you get too close for too long. We love the stupid cuddle bugs. This has been a note from the indomitable Sigurd. There's a debate on the genus to which the bracken belongs. It is a bipedal vertebrae with skin, the color, and texture of a red beet. The name is coined for what appears to be leaves protruding from its upper spine. The purpose of these is believed to be for intimidation. However, not much is known about the specifics of bracken behavior. Due to its elusiveness and low population, we know a little from accounts of wildlife experts who have encountered it. It's a lone hunter with high intelligence. Its behavior can seem aloof. It exhibits high aggression when unprovoked, yet quickly backs off when confronted. However, brackens are known to up their hostility when cornered or simply watched for a long time. It's theorized that upon death, their bodies undergo a rapid decomposition process, which is unique from other large animals. Thumpers are a highly aggressive, carnivorous species of the order Chondrichthyus. Their skeletons are cartilaginous, giving their bodies a stretchy and rubbery quality. Their name comes from the fact that they must eat their bottom legs in order to escape the shell of their hatched egg. Their bottom legs are hardly functional to begin with. Their arms or front legs are very strong, and they occasionally use them to stomp prey. They can reach great speeds in a straight line. They are relentless hunters, typically at the top of their food chain. Their main weaknesses are their intelligence and complete lack of hearing. If you come across a thumper, your best means of survival are leaving its line of sight. As it is slower around corners, it cannot easily track prey. Due to the fast and violent evolution of its species, some theorize that halves are only one of the examples of an increased number of mutations causing higher levels of speculation in planets around the Thistle Nebula. A eukaryotic organism classified within the paraphyletic group Prostata. With the incredible speed of reproduction, these small organisms can multiply to millions. Hydridae rarely split apart, instead of choosing to form large, viscous masses which can take up large amounts of space and become a danger to deal with, requiring large tools or lures to relocate. Hydridae are drawn to heat and oxygen and get detected from seemingly anywhere. There is almost nothing organic that can't convert to their own body mass. Nothing has been found to poison them. Constantly replacing themselves, they can persist for hundreds of thousands of years. If you ever find yourself cornered, find a tall object to stand on top of. Hydronaires have trouble climbing. Colloquially named puffers or spore lizards, Lactera glomerarum of the family Alligatoridae is one of the largest and heaviest reptiles. Despite their large mouths, they are herbivores and do not have a strong bite. The bulbs on their tails are believed to secrete a chemical which attracts and accelerates the growth of the fungus species Lycoperdon perlatum, which it can then shake to release spores as a defense mechanism. A unique example of a mutualistic symbiotic relationship. Spore lizards have a very timid temperament, tending to avoid all confrontation if possible. If their attempts at threat display are not effective, they may attempt to attack, so it's not recommended to corner or chase one. There are historical records that spore lizards were at least partially domesticated hundreds of years ago. However, this effort was set aside by an initiative to harvest their tails for their medical properties. Nutcrackers, the guardians of the house. They watch with one tireless eye, which only senses movement. It remembers the last creature it noticed, whether they are moving or not. Caligaris, or colloquially named coilheads, have not been studied extensively due to their extreme unpredictability and dangerous properties. They've been known to combust into flames when being dissected or even deactivated, and they carry dangerously high levels of radioactive particles. Due to this and other reasons, it's been highly speculated that they were created as biological weapons of war, although this has not been proven. Coilheads' visual appearance is that of a bloody mannequin, with its head connected by a spring. Their defining behavior characteristic is to stop when being looked at. However, this does not appear to be a hard and fast rule. When they encounter a large noise or bright light, they sometimes appear to enter a long reset mode. Get out of there before it goes ape. You can't hide from it. Just evacuate. There's no frickin' scientific record. Good luck. You know as much as us. We call it a jester. A large mammal of the class Saptivus. They're social, hunting in very large packs. They've also been called breathing lions for their recognizable sound and large mouths. They're endurance hunters, an attempt to make up for their lack of sight with their sense of hearing. It's a popular myth that they often mistake the sounds of their own kind for prey, entering fights within their own packs. Their behavior is unique from other pack animals in their tendency to spread out far to cover distance. When an eyeless dog is found prey, it roars to alert others in the near vicinity, who will also sound the alarm, sometimes resulting in a kind of chain reaction. Eyeless dogs can be dangerous in swarms, however they are characteristically clumsy, taking guesses at their prey's exact location, which are often incorrect. Believed to share a common ancestor with Rapax folium, these behemoths are called forest keepers for the biomes they often inhabit. Their bodies bear markings on their front and back which mimic eyes. This trait is more helpful in their youth, as they are not agile. Their skin is a unique, dense material which hardens further throughout their lives. The large spikes and bumps across their bodies form as a result of aging. It is said forest keepers exhibit a curious behavior, similar to that of a human child the age of 5 or 6. They will eat anything they find fascinating. Forest keepers don't actually need to put anything into their mouths, and it's theorized their main source of energy is a process similar to photosynthesis. Still, this makes them relatively dangerous to observe. They can see across long distances, so staying low and making use of cover is a must. They cannot enter small spaces, and they're not generally destructive, so stay close to shelter or overhangs. The reverently named Earth Leviathan of the family Piscicolidae is one of the largest invertebrates found around the Thistle Nebula. None have been captured, so not much is known of their biology. They seem to behave as predators. It's speculated they can burrow as far as 40 meters underground, judging by the incredible excavations they can leave behind. They can detect even the slightest vibrations, and for this reason, it's not recommended to stay still if they're nearby. That is a myth. Instead, if you hear them burrowing, retrace your steps. Baboon hawks are a primitive of the family Cercopothecidae. They are hunchbacks, but can stand up to 8 feet on average. Their heads are bony, with bird-like beaks and long horns, which they use like skewers to gore and feed on prey. Their horns are made of keratin instead of bone, like the rest of their skulls, and they do not contain nerves or blood vessels. As a result, baboon hawks can often break their horns from the force they apply. They fully regrow them within the same season. Baboon hawks partly owe their name to their large wings, which could never carry their large body mass, and are usually instead for intimidation and protection from the elements. The largest baboon hawk troop ever observed was made up of 18 baboon hawks. They are loosely territorial, and much of their behavior is motivated by intimidation and display. They can become collectors, using any flashy or colorful objects to mark their territory. As lone scouts, baboon hawks are generally timid and won't attack unless provoked. In great numbers, they can become a great danger. Sticking close to others and making yourself seem dangerous is the best way to prevent an attack. They prefer smaller mammals, but when desperate, they are known to use their numbers to attack animals even twice their size, such as eyeless dogs. Known as roaming locusts, this is a species of grasshopper. Unlike some species which are more prone to jump or fly, roaming locusts are almost never grounded and stay close together even when in smaller numbers. They will quickly disperse when a predator disrupts them, but are highly attracted to light. Manta coils are a passerine bird of the family Corvidae. Their bodies are quite large compared to their early descendants, and their wingspans range from 55 to 64 inches. Their most defining characteristic is their set of 4 wings. Their back wings are mostly used to stabilize when at low speed, while their front 2 wings create the majority of lift. Their round bodies are a striking yellow, but with black outlines or stripes along their primal rear feathers. Manta Coils mostly feed on small insects, but can also feed on small rodents. They are highly intelligent and social. They pose little threat and have a generally passive temperament towards humans, although they are capable of transmitting rabies, rubenchloria, and pit virus. The circuit bee, also known as red bee, is a eusocial flying insect of the genus Apis, a descendant of the honeybee. Their appearance is quite recognizable from their hairy red bodies and 2 sets of wings. Like their ancestors, they are well known for their intelligent social behavior, large colony size, building wax nests which they use to store honey, and their important role in pollination. Unlike the honeybee, which often shows high places such as trees to construct its hive, red bees create their hives on the ground. Red bees are highly defensive. They will leave the nest to attack any creature that comes within several meters, leaving behind only the queen and drone bees. This bold behavior is enabled by their most defining ability, which is their electrostatic charge. Red bees produce friction with the air. They also produce friction by rubbing their 2 pairs of wings against each other and by rubbing against one another while in the hive. What allows them to create such a surplus of electric field compared to the honeybee is still under research, as they generate a stronger electric field when panicked or angered. This ability is especially useful for them around water. It's best to keep your distance. If a red beehive is stolen, red bee swarms will enter an onslaught in which they attack any living creature. This destructive behavior will last until they have located their hive or completely exhausted themselves, which can take hours to days. They've been known to leave behind fields of bodies of small rodents, insects, and even some larger mammals. And in rare cases, they can start fires. Their strong benefits and drawbacks to their ecosystems are highly debated. Fall is finally here, and it's finally cooling down, which means it's time for you guys to get yourself a hot cup of tea. My wife happens to sell tea. Etsy.com/shop/ivory monocle tea sells different teas that are inspired by nerdy-based things, as well as a bunch of new teas that are available for the Halloween season. My personal favorite, and the one that I drink whenever I'm recording, is Dark and Stormy Night. It has a little MrCreepyPasta symbol on it, and if you ask, you can get a little MrCreepyPasta dabbing sticker. Also, anytime that you order one of those, you actually get my autograph on a little card, so if you want that, hey, you can get that. And finally, I want to give a huge thank you to everybody who supports me on Patreon. So I want to give a very special thank you to Jordan Humble, Diana Kraus, Disciple, Strategy Wolf Emoji, SullyMan, Brandon Mendoza, BrimstonePandemonium, Caltuna, William Wellington, Scruffy the Janitor, Brenna LaQueda Canizales, Smiley the Psychotic, Djenna, Dante Kinkade, SimbasBloodyMojo, Mephistopheles, CursepoxPrimarch, M, Jesus Cornejo, Yarghoul, Verbal Horror, Amber Clark, Jay Kearns, Mike, Himbo Jerry, Crusader Chocobo, Corbin Dallas, Estebean, Seclude, Salty Surprise, Red Shadowcat, Turtleman, Cryolinian, Mr. Marcus Blitz, Dirt Diver 030, Voice of Sand, Psychomel, Melted Lake, Tali Sue, William King, Sashi Suzaku, Croconut 509, Stricken, Freddy Krueger, Hades Nephew, Acid System, Sky Harbor, Nico Kyle, The Ginger Bros, Aaron Stormcrow, Daniel Polson, and Corey Kenshin. I really appreciate your support, and I cannot thank you enough. I wish you all the best. Sweet dreams.